Please continue to mute yourself. Esther and Tom are managing that. I am host right now, so I can't mute. Bear with us, people. Usually I'm able to mute everyone, but I'm not a host tonight. All right, let's try this again, shall we? Rocky start, but we'll have a great finish, promise. All right, Texas even joining in. I'm so excited for this. Well, let's try this, third time lucky, right? My name is Lisanne van Sonsbeek, and I'm very excited to be welcoming you all to tonight's webinar, where we will be talking about an incredible financial opportunity, what's happening in the world right now, and just having a look at what becomes possible in this time of very much uncertainty and very much a shifting and changing, but that also gives an opportunity for us to evolve and to grow and to see what else is possible, but most of all, take things into our own hands. And what can we do in this time of craziness to empower ourselves and move forward? And what are some things that we can learn and educate ourselves on, especially when it comes to economy, finances, income, and how our world is changing. My name is Lisanne, like I said. I'm in the Netherlands right now. I've been a part of Isagenix for the past 2.5 years. And I found Isagenix about a year after I had my own wake-up call, kind of. I was always a personal trainer, dancer, and I've always been self-employed. So I was always trading my time. I needed to be present somewhere to be earning an income. And I realized that if anything were to ever happen, that would be a great risk, because if I can't work, then what is going to happen? So I started opening up my mind and think like something else must be out there. Something else must be possible. And that's when I found my way to Isagenix, including Zach and Slobin that you'll be hearing tonight. They've been incredible mentors for me personally the past 2.5 years. And especially the last few weeks, I've been learning so much about times of crisis, about times of great uncertainty, and what can we do to move forward in a steady, strong, grounded, powerful place. Zach has been with Isagenix for 7 years, but he's been more than 20 years of an incredible entrepreneur. He's seen depressions, he's seen crisis, he's seen times of shakiness in the world, and has incredible wisdom to offer us, as well as incredible education around specifically network marketing and Isagenix and what we have available and what is available to you as well. So without further ado, he's been an incredible speaker, international trainer, incredible ways of learning that we've had in the past with him. Everyone that knows him loves him. So Zach, I think you can mute yourself, and then I'll let you take it away. Get your notebooks ready, people.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisanne. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for putting this together. And thank you to all of you for joining in wherever you are in the world. It looks like we have people all over Europe. We have some people from the US that are joining in, which is really cool. I just want to acknowledge all of you for showing up today or this evening, wherever you are in the world, and for being open. You know, like Lisanne said, we're experiencing unprecedented times. We're experiencing things in the world that I was talking to my wife about yesterday, where it's like you see things like this in the movies, right? Like you see stuff like this happen, and you're kind of like, and even if it's based on a true story, you're kind of like, oh yeah, crazy, but yeah, that would never actually happen, right? And now here it is on our doorstep. So here we are, you know, experiencing you know, things on a global scale that, quite frankly, seems like it's right out of a film. How many of you are just kind of like, just type in the chat box, how many of you are just waiting for like Bruce Willis or Will Smith to just like come out and be like, don't worry, I got this, right? Or you're waiting for like, you know, just the aliens to like come down and like save the planet, you know, just how many of you are just waiting? Like, it just seems it's just so trippy, right? It's just such a fascinating time in our life. And what I also know is from my own experience of being in different cycles of the economy and things of that nature, I know that within great challenge also lies great opportunity. And there's great opportunity for people who are willing to see what's happening see where the world is going, who are willing to move forward with a clarity of vision and a clarity of purpose. And when you really root yourself in solving people's problems and showing people a better way, that's when you can put yourself in a position to thrive in all areas of your life. In fact, if you look at historically, whenever there have been economic recessions and or depressions, those have actually been the times of greatest wealth creation for a lot of people. And the reason why is because you saw people that recognized things like, okay, we're going to need more affordable housing. And so real estate developers got to a position of building more affordable housing for people, right? They help people in that way. You saw investors come through. You saw all kinds of innovation. Some of I think half of the world's current Fortune 500 companies came out of the last Great Recession that we experienced. So there's absolutely an opportunity. And we're really uniquely positioned with Isagenix because of everything that we have to offer. So just to just so I can get a feel for everyone that's watching, how many of you are currently already a part of the Isagenix community? Just type in the chat box, just so I can get an idea. Okay, great. So quite a few, which is awesome. Okay, cool. So like Lisanna said, my name is Zach Slobin, and I live in a beautiful little beach community called La Jolla, California, which is part of San Diego, California. And I was introduced to Isagenix about 7 years ago through a friend of mine, a colleague of mine. And I really wanted nothing to do with building a business anymore. I'd been successful in network marketing previously. I'd also been a massive quote unquote failure in network marketing previously. But I was interested in the products. I understood that Isagenix had a phenomenal reputation. I understood that the science behind the products was legitimate. So I got on the products and I had a phenomenal result. Well, when I met my now wife and we first started dating, she wanted to know what I used for my nutrition. Long story short, she put the products in her body. She had a fantastic result. And she also made several $1,000s with no experience whatsoever and none of my help. And she came to me after a couple of months of doing things on her own. And she said, hey, look, dude, she goes, I haven't spent, my entire life looking for the man I want to be married to just to be separated doing things that we don't love. Come do this with me. And what I saw in that moment was that Isagenix had done something I'd never really seen before. And that's that as a company, we invest so much money into the research and science and development of products that actually work, that we take a person with no experience whatsoever and we put them in a position to actually earn a real income. And Lisanna, who's controlling the Zoom right now? Because
It's Tom.
Tommy, if you just click participants at the bottom of your screen and then click mute all, and then there's a little box that you uncheck. That way people can't unmute themselves. That might be great. And that way we don't have to worry about it. You don't want to put somebody in an embarrassing situation, So if you're able to do that, that's great. If not, that's okay. We'll just keep working through it. So about Isagenix, what I saw here was my wife, who was a corporate employee, who was capped in her amount of money that she could earn, who was looking for something better. And she found that everything that she believed from a wellness perspective was getting delivered to people's doorsteps in a box. And that ideology is more relevant and more prevalent today than it's ever been. The idea of helping people to understand the value of things like nutritional cleansing, antioxidant-rich foods, nutrient-dense foods, right? Things that can help support our telomeres, things that can help our bodies adapt to stress with adaptogenic herbs, right? So these are things that Isagenix has been masterful in producing and formulating over the last 18 years as a company. And really how it all started was that Jim and Kathy Coover, the co-founders of Isagenix, they were introduced to these products by their partner at the time, a guy named John Anderson, who was a master formulator. And John recognized that there was a great need in the market to bring all natural products to the world to help people deal with the toxins that they were being exposed to, the nutritional bankruptcy that was happening in the food supply. And so we partnered with Jim and Kathy Coover. And what Jim and Kathy agreed to do was they said, okay, look, John, if we're going to do this, if we're going to come out of retirement, they were all retired at the time. If we're going to come do this, then we're going to be the company that does it right. and we're going to be the company that's committed to making an impact. And we're going to be a company that says, look, we don't care how much it costs to make a product. If it's not right for the customer, if it's not right for the associate, it's not right for the company. And so with that, they created a vision. They said, we want to impact world health, and we want to free people from physical and financial pain, and in the process, become the most trusted and well-respected health and wellness company in the world. Now, just type in the chat box, how many of you can feel good about being partnered or aligned with a company whose vision is to be the most trusted and respected of its kind in the entire world? Okay, awesome. So that's what they set out to do. And over the last 18 years, that's what we've done. And it's been alongside of their son, Eric Hoover, the Chief Visionary Officer. And just to give you an idea of what this company has done and contributed to people's lives. So we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people whose lives have been transformed because of these products. Type in the chat box if you've already experienced phenomenal results using the Isagenix products. Just type in the chat box, what have been some of your great benefits of using the products? What are some of the things you've experienced? So those that are just kind of checking this out can get a feel for what you've experienced. So great energy, down 10 pounds, more energy, mental clarity, right? What are some other things? Regained your health, building muscle, right? Better skin, down weight plus energy. Energy is a big one, right? Energy is so big because when you remove the junk from your body starts to operate the way it's designed to operate. So, but remember, it was a two-part vision, right? Free people from physical pain, but also financial pain. And right now, as you know, a lot of people are hurting financially. Overnight, jobs are gone. Overnight, businesses are closing down. Overnight, things that people took 10, 15, 20 years, snap of a finger, are gone. Just like that. And that's reality. And it's not to be scary. It's not to be apocalyptic. It's just dealing in reality. And it's understanding that in that reality, people are looking for something to shift into. And so why might they consider shifting into Isagenix and network marketing? And why might you want to do those things too? Well, documentation beats conversation. In the last 18 years, Isagenix has paid out over $3.2 billion in commissions to people. $3.2 billion. Now, some of that is an extra 300 to 500 euros a month for people. Some of that's an extra 5,000 a month for people. Some of that is people that have hit huge financial home runs, like my wife and I, and actually a couple of the people that are on here watching as well. And the reason we've been able to do it is because we have products that work. But this isn't just any company. This is a company that's committed to responsible and ethical sourcing of our products. This is a company that's committed to third-party testing. This is a company whose ingredients meet or exceed US organic standards and practices. This is a company who cares as much about contribution as we do anything else. We have something called the ISA Foundation, and that foundation has donated over $15 million to various projects and things like that. In the last couple of weeks here in the United States, we've donated $1.25 million worth of meals in the form of Isagenix products to people in need during this time of crisis. So this is a company who's committed to putting people over profits. And when you think about what's important to people when they look for an opportunity, you want to consider a couple of things. One, what are the ethics of the company? Who's the people that are leading the company? What do they really care about? And do they actually live what they talk? Because type in the chat box, how many of you guys have seen people say one thing and then do something entirely different? Just type in the chat box. How many of you have seen businesses say one thing and then make exceptions and do something different, right? Well, the thing I love about Jim and Kathy Hoover and Eric, their son, and the entire executive leadership team, and I've had the good, deep honor of serving on what's called the field advisory board for this company for a couple of years, so I get to see behind the scenes, is that every opportunity that they've been given to do what a lot of companies would do, which would favor the company, they said, if we make this decision, does it make us the most trusted and respected? If we make this decision, is it what's right for the associate? And if the answer is no, they just don't do it, even if it costs them hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And as the world turns and as people look for solutions, Isagenix is perfectly positioned to serve those people. Because how many of you would agree that for the first time globally, the conversation of wellness has just changed overnight? How many of you would agree that for the first time, we're not talking about, oh, stop eating that much food or you're gonna gain weight and it's not healthy for you, or, you really should, do this, that, and the other, right? What we've all of a sudden done is we've now reached the fringe people who previously would not be thinking about their wellness. And now doctors all over the world are saying things like, here's what you want to be doing to protect to be proactive with your immune system. Here are the supplements you want to be consuming. Here's the type of food you want to be eating, right? So the first time globally, people are waking up and saying things along the lines of, wow, I better take care of myself. And financially speaking, people are looking at it going, I've got to figure out a way to work from home or to work remotely or to work online. So consumers are going to be looking for companies that produce high quality premium products that are backed by science that they can count on for their wellness. And business-minded people, or people who are open-minded, are going to be looking for things that have systems in place, proven to work, can scale into multiple countries, and is being led by people who know what they're doing. So we are wildly and uniquely positioned to serve people on both sides of that spectrum. How many of you can get excited about that and can see the value in this opportunity from that perspective? It's massive. It's massive. But here's the thing. There's a lot of work from home opportunities. There's a lot of different things out there. But here's why I really want you to pay very close attention to network marketing with Isagenix specifically. Remember what I said earlier, in times of great chaos and challenge also lies the seed of an equal, if not greater, opportunity. How many of you are familiar with the name Robert Kiyosaki? Just type it in the chat box. Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Well, Robert Kiyosaki talks about something called the cash flow quadrant, okay? Can you see that okay? Yeah? On the left side of the quadrant, you have people who are employed, they have regular jobs. Robert Kiyosaki. You have people that are employed, they have regular jobs, they go to a 9 to 5, they clock in, they clock out, they have a steady salary or a paycheck, or at least they did. Then you have the self-employed, right? Self-employed, things like hairstylists, personal trainers, my mom, for example, who's a psychotherapist, right? Maybe like we have some dietitians on here, they're self-employed, things of that nature, right? Now, the thing with the employed and the self-employed, the people on the left side of the quadrant, this is a global idea, right? This makes up about 95% of the population. This 95% of the population, though, only has about 5% of the wealth. On the other side of the quadrant, you have business owners and you have investors. This side of the quadrant, the right side of the quadrant, makes up 5% of the population, but they control 95% of the wealth. Okay, type in the chat box. Do you want to be on the left side of the quadrant or the right side of the quadrant? So do you want to be in the side of the quadrant that has 95% of the wealth or the 5% of the wealth? It's a rhetorical question. But how do we get to this right side of the quadrant? How do we become business owners if we don't have a lot of capital, right? See, that's what business owners do. What business owners do is they create systems and they create networks of people, right, with employees or otherwise, and then they take that money and they become investors, and that's where their money makes them more money. But right now, how many of you would be excited to open up some sort of a retail business in today's economy? Probably not a great idea. How many of you would be excited to open up a franchise in today's economy? Probably not a great idea. How many of you would be excited to open something like a yoga studio right now? Probably not a great idea, right? So right now, if you look at it, what businesses might make sense? Well, network marketing makes all the sense in the world. Why? Because network marketing operates like a virtual franchise. We'll teach you step by step how to be successful doing this. And with network marketing, what you're doing is, you're doing what business owners do. You're creating a cash flow producing asset that over time puts you in a position to create true leverage. So that way, you don't have to be working all the time, but you can still get paid over and over again. How many of you, check this out, if you guys have traditional jobs and your jobs are on hold, how many of you would love it if your employers were like, you know what, Joey, you worked for our company for 3 years, so we're just gonna pay you your salary for the next 15 years. For all the work you did for the first 3 years, we're just gonna pay you for the next 15 years. How would that sound? Yes, please, right? Is that ever going to happen? That's never going to happen. Never, ever, ever is a company going to do that. But in network marketing, that's what we do. We create leveraged income. So we do the work up front and then we get paid over and over and over again. Now, the person who invited you here can show you the Isagenix compensation plan and how it works. But here's the part I really want you to get. Remember what we talked about? We talked about creating leverage, okay? We talked about creating leverage. And here's what I want you to see, okay? Let's say that you decide, okay, I'm gonna start a business. I wanna get to the, or you already own a business, right? And I wanna get to the right side of the quadrant. I wanna create leverage. So you say to yourself, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna hire employees. Do any of you have employees right now? Any of you have employees currently with a traditional business? Or some of you are employees, right? Well, if you have employees, they say if you have one employee, you have a headache. If you have more than one employee, you run an adult daycare. So those of you that are employees, I just want you to know that's how your bosses think of you, like children at a nursery, okay? Like a headache. That's how it is. Why? Why is it like that? Because let me ask you a question. Type in the chat box. Are you ever, if you have a traditional job, are you ever going to care as much about your job as the owner of the company does? Are you ever going to care as much? Never. No way. Your family's going to come first. Your health is going to come first, hopefully, right? Your desires are going to come first, hopefully. So the challenge with having employees is you don't have true leverage. And that's why, in my opinion, the only way to create true leverage is to create an environment where everyone has equal amounts to gain. Doesn't that seem like a win-win business proposition? If I have as much to gain as you have to gain, doesn't that seem fair? Doesn't it seem fair that if you work harder than I work, then you make more money than me, even if I started before you? Doesn't that seem fair? Doesn't that seem equitable, right? If you put in more time, you develop more skills, you help more customers get started, you train more people, and you outwork me, doesn't it seem fair that you should be more successful than me? You should be bigger than me? But what happens in a traditional structure? In a traditional structure, right? If I'm the CEO and you're just like a salesperson for me or whatever, and you're working 120 hours a week for a wage, small wage, and I'm working 40 hours a week collecting all those profits, no matter how hard you work, are you gonna ever out-earn me? Never. Why? It's my company. But in network marketing, we show you how to create leverage. So here's what we decide. We decide, okay, I want to be a business owner. I don't want to have employees. I'm just going to do it on my own. I want to be a solopreneur. I don't like the idea of leverage. I'm going to do it all on my own, and I'm going to be the hero. Okay, here's what it's going to look like for you heroes. And how do I know? I used to want to be the hero. Type in the chat box. When you start a new business and you're really excited about it, isn't it reasonable? Is it reasonable for you to work 12 hours a day to get this bad boy launched? Is it reasonable to put in 12 hours a day into a brand new business that you're really excited about? If you say, no, it's not reasonable, this is nothing about being an entrepreneur is for you. No small business ownership is for you, I promise, okay? Done it many times. So it's reasonable to have 12 hours a day. Okay, so you say, okay, I'm gonna work, let me change markers. You say, okay, I'm gonna work 12 hours a day. Wrong marker. You say, I'm gonna work 12 hours a day, 365 days a year. That means that the most amount of hours that you can get paid on from a productivity perspective is 4,380 hours. If all you're willing to work is 12 hours a day, the most you can get paid on is 4,380 hours of productivity. Okay, everyone following so far? Just go like this in the chat box if I can see you. Cool. Okay, now I want you to imagine that you build your network marketing organization to about 2,000 people. Okay, 2,000 people. Now, does 2,000 people sound like a lot of people? For some of you it does, for some of you it doesn't, right? But no matter what, through some things called the laws of duplication, whether it takes 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years, we'll show you how to, if you're willing to work, right? This isn't pie in the sky. This isn't get rich quick. This is work, right? It's a business. We show you how to get to these 2,000 people. Now, using Isagenix numbers, 80% of this 2,000, they're gonna be customers only. So think about that for a moment. Type in the chat box, if 80% of the people that come to Isagenix only use the products, what does that tell you about our products? What does that tell you about our products? If 80% come and they just love and use the products, they're bloody good. That's right, right? They're excellent, they're fantastic, people love them. What that means though is that about 20%, right, or about 400 people raise their hands and say, hey, I want to participate. I also want to work my way to the right side of the quadrant. I'd love to do this as a side hustle and then maybe eventually as a full-time income, right? So now you have 400 people in your organization that have raised their hand. Is it reasonable to ask people to work just 1 hour a day on their side hustle? Type in the chat box. Is it reasonable to ask people to work 1 hour a day? Of course. So now you have 400 people working 1 hour a day. You're now getting paid on 400 hours of productivity. Pretty good. But watch what happens when you amortize it, when you stretch it out over the course of the year. 400 people working an hour a day, 365 days a year is 146,000 hours of productivity. Now, going back to being the hero and thinking that you should do everything by yourself, it would take you, working 12 hours a day, 365 days a year, it would take you 33.3 years to get paid on 146,000 hours of productivity. This right here, this part right here is why there's no business model like network marketing. And when you align with the right company, with the right products, with the right systems in place, and you're willing to put in the work, this is what can take shape. Now, even if it took you 5 years to get to a place of having 400 people on your team working alongside of you, would it be worth it? Just type in the chat box. Would it be worth it? Of course, because 5 years is better than 33 years, isn't it? Even if it took you 10 years to grow your organization, would it be worth it? Of course, because 10 years is still better than 33.3 hours. This is leverage. Or as I say in my terrible Dutch accent, halfboom. Right? As I say in my terrible, horrible butchering of the beautiful language of Dutch, halfboom in Dutch, right? Halfboom. This is why, if you really get this, you won't sleep at night. This is what makes network marketing so special. And I'm just going to show you how it applies to Isagenix. Okay. Now, one of the things that's really great about the Isagenix compensation plan is there's a tremendous, generous amount of upfront money available to help you get paid so you can bridge the gap while you build residual income. Again, there's a video that the person that invited you to can show you to learn the ins and outs of how the compensation plan works. I just want to show you the real leverage of our compensation plan and what makes it so special. So in Isagenix, we only have a left leg and a right leg. That's it. Very simple. Okay? So you enroll people on your left and you enroll people on your right. Now, again, there's lots of money in upfront bonuses. The person that invited you here can show you what those bonuses are. I just want you to get the residual income, that leveraged income, the money that comes week after week after week when you build this thing the right way. Because how many of you have residual bills? Type in the chat box. You know, bills that come every single month, right? How many of you have bills that come every single month, right? So wouldn't it make sense that you also had money that came in every single week so that you could not only just pay your bills, but you could actually enjoy living your life? What a weird concept. What a strange concept to be able to pay your bills and enjoy life with different sets of money. Because I know what that's like. I know what it's like to sacrifice. Do I want to pay my bills or do I want to go out for drinks with my friends? Because I only have $20, so the $20 is going somewhere, right? Well, might as well go out with my friends because that bill's not getting paid this week. But it's really nice to live in a place of going, oh, bills are taken care of and I can live my life. How would that feel for you? Think about that. How would it feel for you to be in a position where you earned enough money to not just take care of your basic necessities, but to also pursue the things in your life that are important to you? For my wife and I, we just wanted to be together. We wanted to have the freedom, the finances to be together all the time. For some of you, it might be making enough money so you have the freedom and the finances to get away from the person that you're with all the time. Who knows? It can be whatever you want it to be. It can be whatever you want it to be. But in Isagenix, we create residual income by building just two teams, a left team and a right team. And the way this works is that every product inside of Isagenix has a point value associated with it. We call it BV. And in order to create residual income, you need 900 points to come from your two legs combined. It can be 600 from one side and 300 from the other, or 600 from this side and 300 from the other. But what makes Isagenix very special is it doesn't matter where the volume comes from. And it doesn't matter if you help get a customer started or if somebody else gets a customer started. In Isogenics, unlike a lot of other compensation plans out there, there are no levels. So what does that mean? That means, I'll give you a perfect example, okay? Here's my wife and I, okay? Okay? We enrolled a woman named Amy, okay? We got a woman named Amy started. Amy enrolled a woman named Michelle. Michelle enrolled a woman named Paige. Paige enrolled a woman named Emma. Emma enrolled a woman named Beth. Beth enrolled a guy named Rick. Rick enrolled a woman named Kaylee. Kaylee enrolled a woman named Marlene. Marlene enrolled a woman named Esther and her partner, Tommy, okay? They also enrolled a woman named Sonia, who led to a person named Michael. This is all the Netherlands and Belgium that has just been going crazy. Well, guess what? All that volume goes all the way back up to you. That's leverage in isogenic terms. You teach people how to teach people, how to teach people, how to teach people. You help people get started on our products, have a phenomenal experience. You teach them our system on how to share with a couple of people. You help people get paid. And you do that over and over and over again until. And when you do that, you put yourself in a position to create real freedom for yourself. Real freedom. How many of you, type in the chat box, just had, as the British would say, just had the penny drop? How many of you just had a little bit of a, okay, now I see this in a different way, or maybe I'd never realized that that was the power of this whole thing? That's what's here for you. That's what's here for you. Now, when it comes to the products and everything that goes in the products, please get back with the person that invited you to this. There's so much information available about our products and why they're effective. But if you realize that your job is at risk, that people that you love, their job is at risk, if you realize that it's not just, it's not just the death of retail, everybody. It's not just automation. What happened in the world, this recession was already coming. Economists were already predicting this. All that the other thing did was put gasoline on a declining economy. So there are people who are going to be looking for you. There are going to be people who are looking for an opportunity. There are people who are looking for a solution to get from the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant. Because here's the other thing. When you get over here and you align yourself with a company that is recession strong, I'm not going to say recession proof, but recession strong, what a gift you can give them. And here's how strong this company is right now in this recession. Grocery stores are running out of food. Delivery services are having a difficult time scaling. Online grocery stores are not accepting new customers. But what about us? 18 years later, and because of the brilliance of our executive leadership team, because of the brilliance of our corporate staff, because of the brilliance of the network marketing distribution model, and because of the brilliance of how this company has been built to last, our customers are not going without their products. And those products are functional foods. Those products are full of nutrient-dense ingredients that people cannot get anywhere else. These are products that are dramatically impacting people's lives. And this is an income opportunity that's putting an oxygen mask on people at a time when they are drowning. Now, whether or not you want this oxygen mask to be for you is entirely up to you. No pressure, no hard close, nothing along those lines. But here's what I want to invite you into. I want to invite you into a community of people who care about you more than you could possibly understand, who care about you coming into this thing, not for their benefit, but for your benefit. They've already made the decision. They already came into the party. They're already dancing, eating the food, hanging out with great people. They just opened the door for you today. That's all that we're doing. We're just opening a door for you. If you want to walk through, great. If you don't, that's cool too. But keep coming back and keep checking us out because we're not going anywhere. We're here. We've been here for 18 years and we're only getting stronger. We're only serving more people. So again, my friends, Lisana, thank you guys so much for stepping up and putting this together. Esther and Tommy for hosting the Zoom line. Thank you so much for all of you for showing up this evening. We're grateful that you're willing to take a look. Again, I'll say this, everybody, even though I believe that this company is more well-positioned than any other company in the world, just objectively, just look at the facts. At the end of the day, you don't have to do our thing. But please, for the sake of yourself, for the sake of your family, for the sake of your community, please just do something. Have a good evening, everybody.